ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सेदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामविच्यवत् ॐ गणेशाय नमः ॐ सरस्वत्यै नमः शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये वागीशाद्या सुमनसः सर्वार्थानामुपक्रमे यं नत्वा कृतकृत्या स्युः तं नमामि गजाननम् वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय कोटिसूर्यसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ब्रह्मानन्दम् परमसुखदम् केवलम् ज्ञानमूर्तिम् द्वन्द्वातीतम् गगनसदृशम् तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकम् नित्यम् विमलमचलम् सर्वधी साक्षिभूतम् भावातीतम् त्रिगुणरहितम् सद्गुरुम् तम् नमामि सद्गुरुम् तम् नमामि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करम् शङ्कराचार्य केशवम् बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् यस्य सन्निधिमात्रेण सर्वे शिष्याश्च सेवकाः कर्मक्षेत्रे प्रवर्तन्ते चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम् चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम् On the 16th of January is our Paramaguru Swami Tapovan Maharaj Mahasamadhi Day, Aradhana Day. So we chant, at least we have learnt this, we should chant Tapovana Shatkam. व्याप्तं जगत्येन चिदात्मभावात् रज्ज्वा यता हिर्हिचराचरं यत् सन्न्यस्य सर्वं च सदात्मभावे स्वयं समस्तं च बभूव यस्तु. Tapovan Maharaj was our Gurudev's Guru. And after our Vedanta course, we happened to spend time in Uttar Kashi. in Tapovan Kutia for quite some time. We also studied a text called Naishkarmya Siddhi there. Beautiful, serene atmosphere, and there is a Saumya Kashi temple that we used to visit every day and during that time. And that is one we are talking about in this verse. Sanyasya sarvam cha sadatma-bhave swayam samastam cha babhuva yastu nissanga nirmukti padam prapadya brahmatma-bhavena virajito yah Sri Saumya Kashisha Maheshwaraya Tasmai Namaswami Tapovanaya Tasmai Namaswami Tapovanaya Akhanda Bhavaha Shivarupa Tattvaha Hitisvabhavaha Paramatma Satyaha Satyasya Satyaha Sudhiyaiva Gamyaha Parapradhanat Parameshwaro Yaha Adyantahino Nirapeksha Diptihi Swataswarupena Vipullito Yaha Sri Saumya Kashisha Maheshwaraya Tasmai Namaswami Tapovanaya Sri Saumya Kashisha Maheshwaraya Tasmai Namaswami Tapovanaya Mantunna Shakyo Manasa Kadachit Vaktunna Kenapi Tata Navacha Bodhuncha Buddhyadi Tata Na Shakyah Buddhyadi Sakshi Kaluke Valoyah Sarvendriyatita Padastitopi Sarvendriya Prerayita Paroyah Sri Saumya Kashisha Maheshwaraya Tasmai Namaswami Tapovanaya Shuddhati Shuddham Cha Sada Prabuddhaha Vishveshwaro Vishwapara Prasannaha Vyapi Parabrahmani Modamanaha Vedanta Saraha Sudhiyam Sharanyah Eko Vashi Sarva Bhuta Divasaha Sarvadipas Sarva Jivatmako Yaha Sri Saumya Kashisha Maheshwaraya Tasmai Namaswami Tapovanaya Ashabdamasparshas Marupavaccha Tatarasam Nityamagandhavaccha Niranjanam Nitya Nirihamekam Buddhe Param Nirgunasadruvam Cha Guhyam Gabiram Gaganopamam Yam Yam Pashyate Nirdutamalayatindraha Sri Saumya Kashisha Maheshwaraya Tasmai Namaswami Tapovanaya Tejo Mayam Divyamameya Shaktim Sanatanam Shantamanamayam Cha Advaitamascharya Rupam Paratparam Nityamanantamadyam Jnana Prakashena Vishuddha Sattvaha यं पश्यति स्वात्मनि चिन्त्यमानम् श्रीसौम्यकाशीश महेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वामी तपोवनाय श्रीसौम्यकाशीश महेश्वराय तस्मै नमः स्वामी तपोवनाय. We pray to our Paramaguru Swami Tapovan Maharaj to bless us on this path. So on this day, that's why we offered our prayers. Welcome back to our weekly Vedanta classes on Viveka Choodamani. Let's get started with our Mangala Charana Shloka. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. So far, in the last several classes, we have seen that human birth is very rare. We have seen that moksha is the ultimate goal of human existence. And moksha is possible only through gnanam. We went through details on all of these points. So I'm just trying to recap. What sort of gnanam? Atma Aikya Bodha Gnanam. And where is this available? In Vedanta Shastra. In order for the study of Shastra to be meaningful and doubt-free, Sandeha Rahita Gnana, we need to study under a qualified Guru, a Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru. Then we saw general qualifications of the student, Medhavi, Vidwan, Uha Apoha Vichakshanam, meaning he is equipped with good general knowledge of the world, he has got a good analytical mind. Then there are some specific qualifications. Sadhana Chatushtaya, we went through Viveka, Vairagya, Shama Adi, Shatka Sampatti, Shama, Dama, Uparati or Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana, along with Bhakti. And such a student has approached the Guru. Then we saw in verse number 33, we got a very good understanding of the qualifications of the Guru. Not to judge the Guru, but to give a general guidelines. Shrotriya, he is well versed in scriptures. He has got the ability to communicate very clearly. Because the topics that we are dealing with are very subtle, as you can tell. He is avrujinaha. He leads a life of good moral values, principles. Brahma Vittamaha. He is the best amongst the knowers of Brahman. He is calm, Shantaha. Nirindhana Ivanalaha. He is like a fire that has consumed all its fuel, meaning no desires, no karma. Ahetuka Daya Sindho. He is an ocean of compassion. For no reason he is compassionate. A friend of all good people. Whoever approaches him with humility. Then in verse number 35 and 36, we saw a beautiful dramatization of such an approach of the student. He says, hey Swamin, Namahate. Prostrations onto you. I bow down to you. Mam Uddara. Save me. Patitam Bhavabdav. I have fallen in this ocean of samsara. All of this dramatization is done to show the humility on the part of the student. And the student says, save me from the heat of this world. Protect me from this fire. I seek refuge in you, Guru. Sharanyam. Janena kinchit. I am utterly ignorant of the solution to my problems. Krupaya. Vam mam prabho. Show compassion and guide me. Then we saw Guru reassuring him, comforting him, Ma bhaishta, you are not in any danger. Don't worry, I got you. There is a way out of this. There is a plan. There is a way to cross this ocean of samsara. Yenaiva yata yatayosya param. There are so many who have already crossed using this path. Tameva margam tava nirdeshami. I will show you the same way. What is that path? Vedantartha vicharena jayate gnanamuttamam. I will teach you how to do this vichara, how to do this inquiry. You know, he says, AAA is your problem. That is, Advitiya Atma Agnanam is your problem. You got caught up in this with your fake ID, in this Agnana Yoga. You got mixed up with this Anatma. No worries, I got you. Then the student asked the famous question, and actually we should chant number 49. A very famous question. नाम बंधः कतमेष आगतः कथं प्रतिष्ठास्य कथं विमोक्ष्यः कोऽसावनात्मा परमः क आत्मा तयोर्विवेकः कथमेतदुच्यताम् को नाम बंधः. 7 questions he asks. What is this bondage? Katam esha agataha. How has it come to me? Katam pratishtasya. How does it continue to exist? Katam vimokshaha. How does one get out of this completely? Ko savanatma. What is this anatma? Actually, we are addressing that question. What is not self? Paramaka Atma. What is this Atma or what is Paramatma? What is this self? And the 7th question, Tayor Vivekaha. What is the process of differentiation? How do I differentiate between what is self, what is not self? What is Atma, what is Anatma? Katam etat uchyatam. Please explain in detail Now Guru is also very happy. He appreciates this intelligent student. Dhanyosi, blessed you are. Kritakrityosi, fulfilled you are. Pavitam te kulam tvaya. You have purified your entire lineage with this question. Glory to you, dear friend. So, up to the first 50 verses in this original text, it is a preamble for this Guru Shishya Samvada. Then, this 7 questions, it covers the entire topic of Vedanta. So, we started last week with the Sharira Traya Viveka. Because one of the questions that the student had asked is, what is this anatma? Meaning, what is this not self? So under this topic, I covered the highlights from how it is covered in Tattva Bodha. We discussed with references from selected verses of Viveka Choodamani. We covered what was called Sthula Sharira, gross body, Sukshma Sharira, subtle body, and Karana Sharira, called causal body, not casual, causal body. Gross body, Sthula Sharira. What is Sharira? Shiramanyatvat iti Shariram. That which disintegrates, that which perishes, to become the great 5 elements again, going back to that Pancha Mahabhutas. What are they? Space, air, fire, water, earth elements. They are called the 5 Pancha Mahabhutas. That from that this Sthula Sharira is created. With that, let us chant verse number 72. Majjasti medah palarakta charma Tvagahvayair-dhatu biranvitam Padoruvaksho bhujaprushtamastakai Angairupangairupayuktametat. The gross body is an assembly of parts, 7 ingredients. I'm just trying to recap a couple of points. Sapta Dhatau. Majja, Asti, Meda, Pala, Rakta, Charma. Tvagahvayair-dhatu biranvitam. It's made up of skin, flesh, blood vessels, fat, marrow, bones, all this, right? Padoruvaksho bhuja prushta mastakaihi. It has limbs, it has a head, hands, legs, etc. And why is it called Sthula Sharira, gross body? Because it can be perceived by not just our senses, but also by others. Remember, those who have just joined from the study group today, the 4 personality layers we talked about on Wednesday, the physical layer, the emotional layer, the intellectual layer, and the spiritual layer of our personality. Now we are exploring the physical layer. 4 important considerations for the gross body that is given in Vedanta. For Sthula, Sharira. It is made up of 5 great elements. Panchikruta Pancha Mahabhuta Krutam. What are they? Space, air, fire, water, earth. These are called Pancha Mahabhutas. And remember, these are common to all. Everybody. Everybody. So it is born out of good actions of the past. Satkarma Janyam. And it is a counter for experiences. Sukha Dukkhadi Bhoga Ayatanam. And the fourth point was, it is subject to 6 modifications. Shad Vikaravata. We went through that in detail. Let us chant verse number 73. Aham mameti pratitam shariram mohaspadam stulamitiriyate budhaihi nabho nabhastvad bhumayah Sukshmani bhutani bhavanti tani. It is made up of 5 great elements. In Viveka Choodamani it says, Nabho Nabhastvad Dahanambu Bhumayah. These are the 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. Sukshmani bhutani bhavanti tani. Then we saw the process of Panchikarana, how the grossification of the tamasic aspect of the subtle elements, they divide, they split themselves. Since this is a recap session, the 5 steps are called Panchikarana. Remember the example of the 4 boys and 1 girl. They split $2 amongst themselves. In that example, I would suggest and strongly recommend, please watch that video if you have missed that, to catch up on Chinmaya Ramanam, our YouTube channel. In that, I have explained that Panchikarana process, how it comes together. And in verse number 88, Panchikritebhyo bhutebhyah स्थूलेभ्यः पूर्वकर्मणा समुत्पन्नमिदं स्थूलम् भोगायतनमात्मनः अवस्था जागरस्तस्य स्थूलार्थानुभवो यतः. So this gross body is born out of good actions of the past, Satkarma Janyam. Here he is saying Purva Karmana. So we have already seen how rare our human birth is, how blessed we are, what a special blessing it is to get a human body. And the third aspect, he said, it is a counter for experience. It is called Sukha Dukkhadi Bhoga Ayatanam. It's like a counter, just like how transaction, we walk into a Starbucks and the transaction happens on the counter. So the transaction with the world happens with the 9 outlets. Navadvara Pura. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, 1 anus, and a reproductive organ. This happens in what state? Jagrad Avastha. Waking state. Then we saw the 6 modifications that one's body undergoes. Shad vikaravat. I'm re-emphasizing this because it's a very important part of it. It is subject to 6 modifications. Shad vikaravat. What are they? Asti. First, it exists in the fetal form in the mother's womb. Mother goes to a gynecologist. She looks at an ultrasound and says, yes, I see it, and hands her a picture. Jayate, it is born, typically after a gestation of 9 months. Then vardate, it grows, it gets nourished by food, annam. Viparimate, it changes, constantly changes. Discarding the old cell, building new cells, suffering through disease, uh, undergoing many, many modifications. Then apakshiyate, it decays gradually, starts to weaken, loses its strength, loses its vitality. Vinashyati, one day, Ramanam Satyahe. It disintegrates, goes back to become the Pancha Mahabhutas, from where it originally was constituted. Then we saw in verse number 75 an example of Kaimutika Nyaya. Shabdadibhi panchabirev pancha panchatvamapuh swagunena baddhah purangamatanga patangamina bhrunga narah pancha biranchita kim. See, all these animals that are mentioned, deer, elephant, fish, etc., in this verse, they all are blessed with one weakness. One sense organ as a weakness, and that results in their death. So the Kaimutika Nyaya, what to talk of this human who has the weakness to all the 5 senses. So going to depict how these sense organs are a trap to mankind. And we had a very good interactive session last week. We spent almost an extra hour. Why did we study about the gross body? Aham mameti pratitam shariram mohaspadam stulamityate budaihi. Because I have this great association with this aspect of anatma. Not just fascination, obsession. I have great identification with this. What is this? Assemblage of bone, flesh, somehow stitched together. A living, breathing leather bag. Some say it is a walking toilet. I, meaning everyone, has great fascination for this gross body. Stula Sharira, my body, my appearance. Millions and billions of dollars are spent to upgrade plastic surgery, Botox, uplifting it, liposuction, lip enhancements, and downsizing also. Weight loss programs, GLP drugs. Many of your doctors in the audience, I don't have to expand anymore. You get the point. Although I covered a few aspects of the subtle body, Sukshma Sharira and causal body, Karana Sharira last week, I wanted to take up a few more verses today, cover a little more this week so that it doesn't become overwhelming. So we are clear on gross body or Sthula Sharira. The subtler than that is the Sukshma Sharira. From anatomical part to we are coming to the physiological function now. So with that we will chant verse number 92. Buddhendriyani shravanam tvagakshi. Buddhendriyani shravanam tvagakshi. Dhranam cha jihva vishayavabodhanat. Vakpanipada gudamupyupastaha. Karmendriyani pravanena karmasu. If gross body is bhoga ayatanam, a counter experience, Sukshma Sharira is bhoga sadhanam, an instrument of experience. So in Tattva Bodha of Adi Shankaracharya ji, 4 important considerations for Sukshma Sharira, subtle body, is outlined. 1. It is made up of 5 subtle elements, apanchikruta mahabhuta. It constitutes of 17 elements, 17 limbs. Let's go through each one of them. 5 gnanendriyas, organs of perception. What are they? Shrotram, ear. Ear is not just, see, whatever is on the Sthula Sharira is called as a golaka, aperture. But the function of hearing is the internal organ, indriya. I'll explain that a little more. Second is tvak, skin, touch, the sense of touch. Akshi or chakshuhu, function of seeing. Rasana, jihva, to taste. Granam, to smell. 5 karmendriyas or organs of action. What are they? Vak, pani, padav, payu, upastha. Vak is the organ of speech. Pani is hands to grasp things. Pada are the legs for locomotion. Payu, anus, to eliminate waste. Upastha, genital organs for reproduction. These are the organs of 5 organs of action. These are like like input and output devices, you can say. Then we have 5 pranas. Let us go to verse number 95 in the original text. It's kind of in a prose form. Pranapana vyano dana samana Pavatyasau pranaha swayameva vritti bedad vikriti Vedat Suvarna Saliladivat. 5 pranas. Subtle body. So 5 Jnanendriya, 5 Karmendriya, 5 pranas. 15 so far. What are the 5 pranas? Prana. First one is prana. It controls the respiratory function, inhalation and exhalation. We have gone through the details on this before, but just as a refresher, apana, evacuation, rejection of waste. This Vayu Vikara has waste management function. Number 3, Vyana, controls the circulation of blood. It nourishes the body. Udana, all reactions, reverse processes, emergency operation, vomiting, burping. Ut means up, shedding tears, sneezing, and also it is believed that Udana Vayu has the capacity to entertain, assimilate new thoughts, meaning giving us the ability to acquire new knowledge. And it's like an ejection seat. You know, in the fighter aircraft, before the crash, they eject out of it. Like that, Udana helps to eject the subtle body out when it comes time for another body. Then there is Samana, assimilation of digested food, circulation of blood, taking nourishment to every cell of the body. This is the function of Vyana. So these 5 pranas, they are vital to life. One key thing we have to notice here is pranas function very quietly from birth to death. Even when we are asleep, they are functioning. Thank God nobody has to teach us how to breathe, how to digest our food with all the junk food we eat. Imagine if we had to digest our own food. We'll have time for nothing else. And one more thing to note, even if one of the pranas stops completely, any one of them stop, we die. When they function efficiently, body is healthy, sense organs are very keen, very alert, organs of action are sharp, mind is alert. When they malfunction, the body is ill, it is imbalanced, all the problems. Then what we will do, before I get into the other aspects of the Sukshma Sharira, we will chant 96 and 97, which kind of gives a little bit of summary. Let's chant them together and I'll explain that on the other side. Vagadi Pancha, Shravanadi Pancha, Pranadi Pancha, Abhramukani Pancha, Buddhyadya Vidyapi cha Kama Karmani, Puryastakam Sukshma Sharira Mahuhu. Number 97. Idam Shariram Shrunu Sukshma Sangitam Lingam Tvapanchi Kruta Bhuta Sambhavam Savasanam Karma Phalanubhavakam Swagnanato Nadirupadhiratmanah. So, what is Sukshma Sharira? According to Viveka Choodamani, 5 karmendriyas. Vagadi, Pancha, what are they? Vak, Pani, Pada, Vayu, Upastha. Vak is speech, Pani is hands, Pada are legs, Vayu is anus, Upastha, genital organs. These are organs of action. We covered that. Shravanadi Pancha, Shravana Adi. That's how they give. Meaning, they expect you to know the other 4. 5 Gnanendriyas, organs of perception. What are they? Shrotram, Tvak, Chakshu, Jihva, Granam. Meaning, Stotram is ear or hearing, Tvak, skin or touch, Akshi or Chakshu, function of seeing, Rasana or Jihva, function of taste, Granam, to smell. Then, Pranadi Pancha, 5 pranas. Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana, Samana. All 5 Pancha. Then we have Mana, Buddhi. Manas and Buddhi can be further broken down into Chitta, which is memory, part of my intellect, Ahankara, ego. They are all together called Antakarana, internal organs. Hope you are following me along. So in this verse, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is calling it Ashtapuri. 5 karmendriyas, organs of action, 5 gnanendriyas, organs of perception, 5 pranas. Vagadi Pancha, Shravanadi Pancha, Pranadi Pancha, Abhramukani Pancha. What is that Abhramukani Pancha? These are the 5 Pancha Mahabhutas. Raw material. Akasha, space, fire, Agni. Akasha is space, fire is Agni, Apaha is water, Vayu is air, Prithvi is earth. And then the 5th city, Ashtapuri, he said, 8 cities. 5th city is Buddhi Adi, meaning Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. 6th city is Avidya. 7th Kama, 8th Karma. Avidya, Kama, Karma. This is a beautiful reference from Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji. These are the 8 cities that go on to make Puryashtakam Sukshma Sharira Mahuhu. Then in the next verse he says, Idam Shariram Shrunu Sukshma Sankitam Lingam Tvapanchi Kruta Bhuta Sambhavam. Hey Shishya, Shrunu, listen. Whenever that Shrunu comes in Vedanta, you have to pay attention. Like we say, hey, listen, are you listening to me? Did you get it? Like that. Hey, Shrunu. These are the components of Sukshma Sharira. One new term came in the sloka, called Linga Sharira. Linga. Linga means what? Indicator, Lagi, indicator. When we say smoke is an indicator of fire, where there is smoke, there is fire. Like that, all these 17 constituents of this subtle body, they are inert by themselves. They do not have the sentiency on their own. Jada. What is they indicating? They are indicating the presence of Atman. They have borrowed their ability from somewhere else. So that's an indicator. There is an indicator of the existence of self. When Sukshma Sharira is present, it indicates there is life in the body. A lot of times we mistake the brain to be a part of the Antakarana. In Vedanta, brain is like an office of the Antakarana. When a person is in a state of coma or brain dead, we say, though the internal organs are present, it does not function. We say the person is in a vegetative state. So the subtle body or Sukshma Sharira is an instrument of experience. Bhoga sadhanam. See, when we're wounded, what happens? It happens to the gross body. But the pain is experienced by the subtle body. So in sleep, there is no pain. Subtle body is also born out of the good karmas of the past. Satkarma Janyam. Like I said last week, when do we experience the Sukshma Sharira? Both in waking, when you're daydreaming, or what is unique to subtle body is Swapnavastha. Dream state is unique to subtle body, where it creates a world of its own, an internal world. And dream, they say, is often caused by suppressed thoughts or unfulfilled desires in the waking state. Then we have two other aspects in this subtle body, mind, mana. We say seat of thoughts. If it is in a state of, it's in a volatile state or it's in a state of flux, sankalpa vikalpatmakaha manaha. Mind is the seat of emotion, anger, jealousy, compassion, love, all these are in the mind. Mind perceives an object, goes through the senses to the outer world, perceives it. If mind does not back the sense organs, they cannot receive any stimuli. Let me give you an example for that. We all have gone through this. Let's say we are sitting in a traffic light, and you're looking, eyes are wide open, and the light has turned green, but your mind has gone somewhere else, wandering around, until you hear a honk from the driver behind, and the other sense organ alerts the mind. Hey, wake up. Are you daydreaming? Wake up. We all have gone through this, we know. So organs of action responds to the world through the mind. You know, some scientists, They say mind is matter. Some say it is not matter. For a Vedantin, it does not matter. And when the mind is in a state of decision, it is called buddhi, intellect. Nischayatmika buddhi. It is separated. There is no physical separation. It is only separated for our understanding. So mind becomes intellect and vice versa, depending on which state the thought flow is in. I hope that is clear. And then in the Sharira Traya Viveka, we need to talk about causal body, Karana Sharira. It is called Karana Sharira because it is the cause of the other two. It is the cause for the subtle body and the gross body. Sharira Dvaya Karanam. Let's see why. Let's put our thinking hat and do some vichara in the remaining time. This Karana Sharira, it consists of what? It consists of our vasanas, our inherent tendencies in an unmanifest form, in a seed form. So it is of the nature of ignorance. Avidya Rupam. I'm just giving you the definitional aspect. It is the nature of ignorance. Ignorance of what? Sat Swarupa Agnanam. What does this mean? The problem is I do not know my true nature. Remember, I use the term triple A. Triple A is our problem. Advitiya Atma Agnanam. I am ignorant of my true nature. Why I am studying all this Stula, Sukshma, Karana, Sharira? Because my true nature is that I am Atma, Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa. What is the definition? Stula, Sukshma, Karana, Sharirad, Vyatiriktaha. That is beyond gross, subtle, and causal body. So the causal body arises out of our ignorance called avidya. Remember, I told you a little time ago in that shloka, 8 cities, Ashta Puri. In that 6, 7, 8 were called avidya, kama, karma. So because of my avidya, causal body or karana sharira, combined with adhyasa, the false or illusory superimposition called adhyasa, coupled with ahankara, my ego, I have superimposed this false identification with it and developed an attitude of me and my, kartrutva and bhoktrutva. Now, what did we say the other definition of Karana Sharira was? Sharira Dvaya Karanam. Now, because of this avidya, I have kama, desire. That desire gives birth to my subtle body. To fulfill the desire, I need to do karma. That creates my gross body. See, logically, we are taking one step at a time. Then I do actions, karma. If I do meritorious actions, punya karma, I get punya, I get sukham as karma pala. Then Upadeshasara. Karturagnaya prapyate palam karma kim param karma tajjadam krutimaho dadau patana karanam palama shashvatam gati nirodhakam. If I do unrighteous actions, papa, as a karma pala, I get dukkham. All these results are stored in my subtle body that I have been doing for several births and deaths. Cycle of birth and death called samsara. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam. इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि murare. When did all this begin? A beginner in Vedanta will ask this question. There must be a first time somewhere it began. When was that first time? We say this is anadi, beginningless. It's been there, it's time immemorial, we say. I asked this very same question 25, 30 years ago to one Swamini Sheelananda. I think she had a beautiful answer. She told me, take a walk with me. If you have fallen in the well, would you care to know how you fell, or would you care to know how to get up? And then smilingly, she said, in Vedanta, we simply say this is an inexplicable phenomena. We say anirvachya, inexplicable. Is this real? Does this belong to the category of sat, existence, or does this belong to the category of asat, non-existent? We say it neither belongs to sat nor belong to asat. So we say sat asadhyam anirvachyam. It is mithya. It is illusory phenomena. That is why I use the term bondage as a notional identity, a delusional identity. It is a notion because it causes emotion and commotion in my life. Therefore, Karana Sharira is anadi, beginningless. It is an inexplicable phenomena, anirvachya. It is free from thoughts. Nirvikalpaka rupam. Give me a few more minutes today, please. Nirvikalpaka rupam. When the individual identifies with this Karana Sharira, he is in a state of slumber, deep sleep, sushupti, the world of plurality as we know it. The external world has folded down. There is no internal world. There is no swapna. He is in a state of deep sleep. It is a homogeneous experience. Ananda. Close to Ananda. That experience of nothingness. Ajnana Nidra. Not out of knowledge. Out of Ajnana. That's why we say the individual is in a state of ignorant bliss called Sushupti. So to summarize, I have two charts to show you so that you key takeaway. So there is this consciousness works through the gross body the subtle body and the causal body, and they wake through the gross body he becomes the waker, through the subtle body he becomes the dreamer, the individual ego, and the causal body is the deep sleeper. The individuality of a human being is depicted in that chart. Then also, to summarize what we did, in the Jagrad Avastha or waking state, your Stula Sharira or gross body, the ego is termed as Visva. You have both, you experience the external world, you experience the internal world also sometimes if you are daydreaming. Then the Swapnavastha or the dream state, you make use of the Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. Ego is called as Taijasa. You create an internal world. Then Sushupti or deep sleep, you identify with your causal body. Ego is termed as Prajna in Vedanta. There is absence of both external and internal world. I hope that summary helps you. We'll stop here for this week. Thanks for staying back a little more. We'll continue our journey next week. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. May all be happy. May all be healthy. May all see auspiciousness. May none suffer. Oh, peace, peace, peace. Thank you, everyone. And open it up for our interactive session.